The power of stillness is something we often overlook. It's hard to understand at first because we're always taught to stay busy, to keep moving, to achieve, to act. We think that in order to make progress, we have to keep doing things. But in truth, the greatest power, the deepest peace, is found in moments of stillness. Stillness isn't something we have to force. It's already within us. It's always there, waiting for us to stop and notice it. The trick is that stillness doesn't show up when we are always busy. It's hidden behind the constant noise of our thoughts, our worries, our distractions. When we let go of all the movement and just sit in silence, we start to feel that stillness. We start to realize that it's not something we need to create. It's already here. At first, this stillness can be uncomfortable. Our minds are used to being busy. They've been trained to think that noise, activity, and constant movement are what keep us alive. So when we sit in silence, the mind tries to distract us. It throws thoughts at us, tells us we should be doing something else, or makes us feel restless. But if we allow it, if we just stay in that moment, we start to notice something else happening. Beneath all the noise, there's stillness. The stillness doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't leave when the thoughts come. It's always there, quietly waiting. And when we rest in it, we start to see that it's not empty. It's full of life. It's full of potential. It's like a deep space where everything flows from, where everything returns. When we stop trying to fill that space with noise and action, we realize that the peace we've been searching for is already here. You might be wondering, how can I find peace when my mind is so busy? And I'll tell you this, let it be busy. Don't try to stop it. Just notice it. Watch how the thoughts come, how they go. They don't last forever. They arise and then they disappear. But the stillness doesn't change. It's not disturbed by the noise. It just is. Stillness isn't the absence of thoughts. It's the space that allows the thoughts to come and go. Think of it like this. The thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, they're like clouds passing through the sky. They come, they block the sun for a moment, but they always move on. And you're the sky. You're the space that holds them, but you're not the clouds. When we get lost in our thoughts, when we think we are the thoughts, we forget that we are the sky. We start to believe that we are the cloud, and that's when the peace disappears. But when we remember that we're not the cloud, we can rest in the sky. We can sit in that stillness and realize that we're not here to change the clouds. We're just here to be, to simply be. The key is to stop identifying with the noise. Stop thinking you are the one who is busy, the one who is overwhelmed, the one who is running after things. You're not that. You're the stillness that holds it all. When you rest in that stillness, you begin to see that everything you need is already here. You don't need to chase peace. You don't need to search for it outside. It's already within you. When you sit in stillness, you may still have thoughts, emotions, and distractions. But now, they don't have to control you. You can just watch them come and go. And as you do, you'll realize that they don't change the stillness. They can't touch it. They can't take it away, because the stillness is what you are. You are the space where everything happens. And when you start to rest in that stillness, you'll notice something even more profound. The world around you begins to look different. Things don't seem so solid, so real, so permanent. It's like everything becomes transparent, like you can see through it. You start to feel that everything is connected. that everything is part of you. You are no longer separate from the world. You are the world. You are the stillness, and everything is just moving through it. This is the peace you've been looking for. It's not about changing the world or trying to fix your problems or doing something to make your life better. It's about letting go of the need to control, of the need to do, of the need to change things. It's about resting in the stillness that's always been here. And in that stillness, everything you need is already present. When you learn to rest in stillness, you may begin to notice how often you've been trying to fill the silence. Our lives are often filled with noise, music, conversations, tasks to complete. We've become so accustomed to the sound of things that silence feels strange, even uncomfortable. But in this silence, something deeper than the noise waits to be discovered. It's not an empty silence. It's a fullness that speaks louder than any words ever could. Over time, as you rest in the stillness, you start to recognize that silence isn't passive. It's not a void. It's an active presence. It's the foundation of all things. From stillness, movement arises. From silence, sound comes. The more you rest in it, the more you start to see how everything arises from this space of quiet. In every moment, it is within this silence that the entire universe unfolds. Another beautiful thing about stillness is that it allows us to truly listen to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. We live in a world filled with distractions, and often we don't listen deeply to what's being said or what's happening inside of us. In the silence, you can hear more clearly. You can hear the truth that is often buried beneath the layers of noise. And in that listening, there is a deep peace, a peace that comes from understanding that all the answers we need are already waiting for us to listen. In stillness, we also begin to see the impermanence of everything. Thoughts, feelings, sensations, they all arise and pass away. The world around us changes constantly, and yet stillness remains. It is the one constant in an ever-changing world. And in this realization, we find freedom. We no longer need to cling to things, to people, or to outcomes. We can simply allow everything to come and go, knowing that we are the stillness that remains untouched by it all. The more you rest in this stillness, the more you realize that nothing truly disturbs it. It is not a fragile peace, easily shattered by the noise of the world. It is a strong, unshakable presence. It holds everything, supports everything, and remains undisturbed, no matter what. The more you allow yourself to be in this stillness, the more you will find that the outside world has less and less power over you. When you learn to rest in stillness, you also begin to release the need for validation. So much of our lives are spent seeking approval, seeking praise, seeking affirmation. But in stillness, there is no need for any of that. You come to understand that you are complete as you are. You don't need the world to reflect back to you what you are. You are enough, exactly as you are, in the stillness of your being. As you continue to rest in the stillness, you begin to realize that you are never alone. You are part of something far greater than yourself. You are connected to the whole universe, and in that connection there is an unspoken understanding, a knowing that transcends words. This oneness is found in the silence, in the stillness. It's in the quiet moments when everything falls away and you simply are connected to everything, and yet completely at peace. The stillness teaches us to stop grasping, stop holding on to things. We begin to understand that everything we've been chasing, Everything we've been trying to hold on to is fleeting. The only thing that is truly ours, the only thing that cannot be taken away, is the stillness. And when we rest in it, we become free. Free from the need to control, free from the need to do, free from the need to be anything other than what we already are. So how do you begin to practice this? How do you let go of all the noise and rest in stillness? It's simple. Just sit. Sit in silence. Don't try to make anything happen. Don't try to force peace. Just let yourself be. Watch your thoughts without identifying with them. Don't react to them. Let them come and go. And as you do, you'll begin to notice the stillness that's always here. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not the noise. You are the space in which all of this appears. And when you realize this, you will find the peace that you've been looking for. Stillness is not something you have to chase. It's not something you have to create. It's not something outside of you. It's inside you right now. And when you stop searching, when you stop trying to fill the silence with noise, you'll realize that the stillness is everything. It is all there is. You don't have to go anywhere to find peace. It's already here. It's already who you are. You are the stillness, the peace, the silence, and everything else. It's just passing through.